All right, so I'm still on hold, which is whatever, you know what I mean? But I just want to say that the whole reason why I began to make the last video is because Amarillo Police Department actually does have their their call system and their call center crap. They have it set up to basically not answer the phone for anybody. I was trafficked across the United States by my family several times. I've tried to call this non-emergency number crap and follow their little directives and everything. It's.
I'm sorry about your wait.
Oh, you're fine. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right. So basically, after putting me on hold that entire time, she told me that I couldn't make the complaint in my jurisdiction, that I had to, that I couldn't make the complaint to Amarillo, to the city of Amarillo, that I had to, that I have to make the complaint in my jurisdiction. So, I mean, I don't know if that's the truth or not. And this is oftentimes what happens to me every single time that I call to make a report. They tell me that I have to call somewhere else. Whenever I made phone calls, even to the FBI the other day, they would ask me what was up. I would explain it perfectly. I wouldn't, putting myself at risk by explaining something over the phone, why I'm calling and having to explain why I'm calling over and over and over and over again. And they just patch me over to the next person and patch me over to the next person and patch me over to the next person. And before I know it, I've told so many officers and so many doctors the same story. And then when the person finally does come in, or the officer does finally show up, and he's like, you know what I mean? They just keep sending this extra person to be like, okay, what's the report? Oh, okay, I'm the person who's supposed to take the report now. What is the report? And they'll just ring around the rosy. They'll just take you around and around in circles, and you'll never actually get a report made. It's really absolutely sick. I'm actually shocked that they answered the phone that time, because I had just followed that number 2 that I pushed, that you guys saw me push. I had just gone through that whole process 2 times, like before I even began to record. I feel like the only reason that anyone answered is because they can actually see what I'm doing on my phone in real time. My sister, who I just made that complaint to that dispatcher, who I was like, my sister just broke into a federal database and she changed my, username and password and stuff like that. I was like, can I make a report about that with you? She was like, yes. Okay. She'd begun to make a report. A phone call came in. Then all of a sudden she was like, oh, sorry, I had to take that call. It was another, there was another thing. But however, she all of a sudden has an answer for me to tell me that because I'm in another place. So, you know what I mean? It's just nuts. She's all of a sudden like, oh, I was gone for a while, but I'm not going to continue to take your report that I just told you that I could take. Now I'm going to tell you that because you're somewhere else, to go ahead and make that report where you are. So I don't know if what she did was just legal or not. I will say that as a victim and somebody who, it has been in serious life-threatening emergency situations, that even though I'm not in Amarillo, Texas, that the people responsible for what's happening to me, several of them are in Amarillo, Texas. And so it would make sense for me to, and some of the reports that have been made that need to be adjusted are in Amarillo, Texas. There's a report that needs to be changed to homicide, attempted homicide, that right now is just in there as simple assault. And that was a paid homicide that they just have written up in the system as simple assault. I already asked for them to change that. I've asked for people to help me walk through stuff. They're just like, oh, call this person. Oh, call that next person. Oh, and it's like, how simple would it be to just make a simple report, simple reports that you guys could just put into a database, you know what I mean? Or that you could just put into your system, a very simple report, blam. Okay, so now here this issue is flagged. Now we can at least get attention on this person and an officer out to them, something like that. But then who's to say that the officer that actually comes out to you is going to take your report seriously or even receive your information? Because it all depends on who you're talking to, which gang group, organization, or secret society that they belong to that day, what religion they are, or what religion they're persecuting that day, whether or not they're child sex traffickers that day. You know what I mean? I mean, it gets complicated as to whether or not you can make a report, or whether or not they're going to receive your report, whether or not they're going to tell you that you're crazy, or whether or not they're going to send you to someone else. And I'm going to tell you right now that over 80% of the time, you're going to be sent to somebody else to give the report again. And by the time that it's finished, you may never actually get any reports made. I spent over 2 hours on that online database that I just called and made that report about being broke into. I spent over 2 hours compiling all of that information together for the state of Texas when my little sister broke into the profile as I was creating it and into the information as I was writing it out. She then kicked me out of it. I have no idea what she changed, what she saw, what they're going to do with the information. And with I've made several reports today in several different ways. I was not able to find out if all of my information was received. You wouldn't believe the information that I've actually sent online, written information that I've sit down and spent hours upon hours upon hours writing out to make sure that they get to these child protective services and adult protective services systems. And these places, when I call later or when they contact me later, they have no information in their stuff about me at all. They don't have any of the reports that I've made. They don't know anything about me because my little fucking whore sister and my family they hack into federal databases, my profiles in federal fucking databases, and they adjust and delete the reports that I make. And they get a hold of the people who work for the adult protective services and child protective services, and they get those people to delete the information that could have passed through and made it into their database. Don't pretend that you don't. It's an entire corrupt system and network, and they're all part of this nasty sex trafficking campaign. A bunch of them are Freemasons and Eastern Stars, and y'all are all up in Amarillo. I've been in your nasty little Eastern Star auditorium before, dressed different than all the other girls and everything. You guys call me your little Rose and all that shit. And I was your nasty little sacrifice abuse victim, and apparently still am today. The Eastern Stars and the Freemasons in Amarillo, Texas are especially corrupt. They are part of a child sex trafficking ring. Amarillo, Texas is a very corrupt place, and there are police officers there who are part of a organized child sex trafficking ring. There are sex traffickers who all meet together on the internet, and all these daddies tell the other daddies where to find their kids and which parks that they play in and which schools that they go to. And the only reason why I know that is because I was one of the kids that they did that to, and my daddy told me about it while he was doing it to me. Yeah, and I've called in to Amarillo, and I've gone there in person more than once to try to explain that to officers, and they think that I'm joking. They think that I'm just playing funny games. So my family right now, they're still living at large. They're still able to traffic children and exploit and take pictures of whoever they want in Amarillo and set people up to be sexually assaulted and kidnapped and robbed and murdered, and law enforcement just allows that to happen. So yeah, it's been real making this video for you guys about the dispatcher that I talked to. I'm not trying to say anything nasty about her personally. She might have actually had to spend all that time taking another call, but I very seriously doubt it. All right, thank you.